Jordan Tower with JT News.
Yes, sir.
Okay, Wendy, we have the next subject is death of dynasties, of hip-hop groups.
Empires, hip-hop empires.
Let's break them down. We got G-Unit, Dipset, Rough Riders, Roc-A-Fella, Death Row, No Limit, and it seems like Cash Money's going this way. They haven't gone totally that way yet. But let's talk about it. Let's just have a conversation about the death of these dynasties. I mean, the most hurtful one was probably Roc-A-Fella, because we saw it fall apart in our face.
Yeah, that one was really sad because it was an empire, and it was one of the backbones of the golden era of hip hop.
Yes.
And we all looked up to Roc-A-Fella.
Mm-hmm.
They were the underdog, and they became the superstar label.
What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think? Looking from the outside in, what do you think the real problem was there?
It's hard to say. It looks like the relationship between Dame and Jay soured.
Yeah.
And again, I wasn't on the inside. I'm an outsider looking in, and it appears that Jay busted a move and left.
Yeah.
Well,
Jay shed some light on this in Lost Ones. In Lost Ones, he says too much Sam Rothstein, not enough, So too much. He was trying to be a rapper too much versus being a businessman. Right, Rack? On Lost Ones.
You saying Dame was trying to be a rapper too much, or Jay?
Dame.
Oh, well.
Too
I
much.
see what you're saying.
Too much Sam Rothstein, not enough. Remember that line in Lost Ones?
I remember the line.
Yeah.
So I guess at the Big Pimpin', Dame Dash pretty much, I guess, got into rapper mode without rapping on the mic or getting in the booth.
I think so.
He's pouring champagne on females, chicks or whatever.
Yeah, he was going the puffy route because everybody was kind of getting that puffy route around that time, like the CEO can be in it too, I think Dame Dash even says he almost started rapping at one point too, but it just didn't work out. Remember? They shed light some interview.
Wow.
Yeah, he almost was.
I didn't remember that.
He was going to try becoming. Well, they never went.
He had an album, Dame Dash Presents. I think what was that? The Champions was the singles, and I think he put it out. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I would have done the same thing. So the relationship just fell apart.
Yeah, that's what it appears to be. It appears to be that the partnership broke down.
Not only that,
Jay-Z went on to build Roc Nation and is hugely successful.
Well, the artists were divided at that point because then Roc-A-Fella got sold to Def Jam, where Jay was president, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then he split that off and went to after a while and started Roc Nation. Right.
I think he had to deal with Live Nation and went to Sony.
I mean, what a chess move. What a chess move on Jay's part, right?
Well, guys, what do you think about somebody who has partners their whole career and then kind of X's them out and moves on? Like, how do you feel about that? Was it disloyal or was it a smart business?
Do you want to go first or should I go? You can go first if you'd like to.
I feel like you don't have to be a partner in on everything with a partner that you may have came into business with. Mm-hmm. I think if you decide to expand in a whole different direction, you have the right to say, you know what, I'm doing this, and we're gonna continue to do this until we say, okay, you know what, 2007, we're gonna, probably fold the label. I think it should be communication before.
Right.
People start expanding on and really even continuing on. It should be like a ceiling.
Right.
In terms of, are we all the way in till death do us part, or we here for 5 years, or when we get a certain amount of money or sell a certain amount of records. It should be communication.
Right.
Every year it should be like, let's sit down and see where we at with it. But I definitely don't agree with having a partner and everything you do, they get 50% of, or they automatically becomes your partner. If you decide to go fishing and want to, have a fishing business and selling bait and fishing rods and different things like that, it's like, that's totally different than the entertainment business.
Right.
So,
You know, I knew something was wrong when I was at this was my first thing. I was, I think I was the end of high school or beginning of college, and I was at that old boy video, and Jay-Z came, and I saw just like how Jay-Z just didn't mess with the Harlem dudes. You know, I just saw a separation there. Lyor Cohen was there. They took a big picture. And, you know, being a kid that didn't give a shit around the time, I walked straight up to Jay-Z and I said, hey, man, I would love to get an interview. You know, and you can't even fathom this nowadays. I go, I'd love to do an interview, bro. I respect you. But I said, who was your manager? I knew I had to get a manager's name. He said, manager? This is my number directly at the office. Here you go. I was like, you manage yourself? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, salute.
That's gangster.
Salute.
So did he do the interview or did he spin you?
Man, I was a fan. I was never going to call Jay-Z. I was too scared to call Jay-Z directly. It would have worked better with
You was too scared to call him, but you went up to him directly?
It was
because he didn't think about
come true, bro. Honestly, I mean, listen to Jay-Z, my whole high school life.
He went up to him as a reaction, but when he got home and had to think about it, then it became pressure.
I was like, I'm not calling Jay.
That, oh my God, I have to call him.
I used to call Jim Jones a lot around that time though, because he was managing Cameron more so than anything. I used to call Jim Jones a lot because I got his number at the video.
Oh yeah.
I was surprised. Even Wendy picked up my calls around that time. I was fucking nobody. Talking to all these people on the phone, like I'm somebody. I used to lie. I used to be like, yeah, I work for MTV. You got to lie your way in the game sometimes.
That's funny.
Fake it till you make it, huh?
Yeah,
did you lie to me or were you?
No, I was straight up with you because I got your number through Necro. Remember, I was working with Necro.
Oh, right.
Yeah. So you knew the deal. You knew I was just some college scrub, not even in the industry yet.
You were filming. You filmed. Was it a documentary on him? Because I remember you came to one of the Cypher sessions that I did.
Yes, that's where I got an interview with you about Necro.
Mm-hmm.
I remember that.
Yeah. So
now,
it was a...
Oh, not to cut you off, but now, Wendy, how do you feel about coming into business with a partner and it's, say, 10 years later and you want to expand? Do you feel like that partner should, I guess, be 50% on everything you do? That's outside.
No. I think that as you expand into other areas, that you should own your own business. What I have a problem with is somebody who didn't continue the original business with that partner, and it looked, again, as an outsider looking in. I'm not inside, but it appeared that Jay kicked Damon Biggs to the curb when they had funded his whole career and his whole movement and risked their lives to get the money to do that. It just seemed a little foul to me that somebody would have an attitude like, oh, you've made enough money off of me. And he may not have felt that. He may not have said that to them. That may not be the issue at all. But that's how it came off. And I don't like the way it came off. At that same time, when he was getting out of their partnership, there were also guys from the streets talking about how Jay did them ugly. And I wish I could remember their names. Calvin Klein was one, and the other guy's name was DeLorean. DeHaven, thank you, DeHaven. So there was already some rumblings about how he was a disloyal man, and then all of a sudden this move came which appeared extremely disloyal, because it wasn't like he was trying to start a side company. It was like he wanted to keep going on the route he was on, didn't like the way his partner was handling the business, and kicked him to the curb. That's how it looked.
I used to look at it that way, and I don't look at it that way anymore after getting to know Damon Dash more through his interviews and everything.
Right.
The guy has...
How do you look at it?
I think Damon Dash was great in the beginning. You know, he just goes full force in, got Jay in the business. But once they had that power, Damon Dash abused his power. He's one of those people that abuses the power. And he was gonna kill the brand at one point. You know, like
Okay.
Jay probably didn't like the way he was handling his business. He said, "We're gonna hit a wall at this point." Jay had visions of going to where he's at now, you know,
Right.
and expanding beyond. But he wouldn't be able to do that with Damon Dash. So he
Well, why
probably
get
had to do what
Biggs?
was best for him.
Why get rid of Biggs? Why is Biggs
Because
not
Biggs
there?
had a loyalty to Damon Dash.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So and if you remember, Biggs stayed with Damon Dash after that. He could have gone with Jay-Z. I'm sure he could have. You know, because he didn't say anything publicly. You know.
Right. Props
So-
to him for staying with Damon.
Yeah.
Salute.
And,
Props to him.
he stayed. They still had an office. I remember right in Times Square. You know, just seething money. You know, they were just. You know, they had kids. They were buying companies that didn't make sense. You know.
Right. I really like Dame Dash. You know, I know a lot of people in the industry say that he's arrogant. I've never found him arrogant. Like, he's never been
So
arrogant.
do you
to-
agree with him downplaying a working person with a job?
I've never heard him do that.
Go watch the Breakfast Club interview, and then you'll have a
Okay.
different opinion on him.
Okay. I'll watch it.
Yeah. I mean, I like Damon Dash. I let's not take anything away from him as being a businessman. He's amazing.
Right.
Yeah,
But
Dame
I think his
Dash.
outlook on some things stops him from going to where he should really be.
Gotcha.
You
Yeah, I'm
know,
not close enough to him.
He's
to
very
know
into,
that.
like, the number one rule in business is don't spend your own money, and he preaches spend your own money. But if you're starting a company, people that are billionaires will tell you, don't use your own money and don't take
Right,
a
tell you
loan,
other
but
people's
maybe
money
get an
will be-
investor.
I think it's no wrong way in that, because everybody's success is not going to work out the same way.
True.
So if you use
I use
seed
my own money.
Yeah, if you use seed money to start your businesses and it works for you,
Mm-hmm.
then, you know, kudos to you, salute to you. But some people, all they know is, I need an investor, or
Right.
I need to get a record
That's what
deal.
worked for him in the beginning. I see what you're
Yeah.
saying, Rex. So
Yeah.
that's his.
It doesn't
blueprint.
work out for everybody the same
Yeah.
way.
Right. The great thing about not having investors, and that was the path that I chose,
Uh-huh.
is that I own my company 100%. The downside is that had I had an investor,
Mhm.
I could have done so much more.
Of
You know,
course.
I could have built an empire.
That's
But
why when
that
people go on the
wasn't-
Shark Tank, right, and they're like,
Right.
they're I don't know if we should do it. It's 30%. Well, what the hell are you going to do when you go home? This person's going
Right.
to get you here in a year. It's going to take you 10 years.
Right.
So fucking
a
sometimes
give
you
and a
got to take a
curse.
loss to take a win.
It's a gift and a curse on both aspects.
It is, absolutely.
You just have
and
to
you gotta
choose the
weigh
right
what's best
investor.
for you.
You have to
know?
choose the right investor, because if you,
You do.
choose the wrong one, you're screwed.
Right. All money
I
is
think
not
you just
good for
got to
you.
negotiate the right situation.
And they also
Correct.
have to be able to offer something for real and really get
Right.
behind
And
it.
and it should be if you need guidance, it should be more than money, you know? Sometimes an investor brings more to the table than just finance.
Yeah, because they resources. They might have resources. A lot of times they could pick up the phone and make certain calls
Absolutely make things happen.
happen. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Jordan Tower, JT News.